doing this today if I had not been part of an ESOP company myself. You see, in 1984, I joined a company down in Evansville called Kester Contracting at the time. After 3 years, the company was starting to move along. We had the sole proprietor, a guy by the name of Bill Kester. He had 4 children. Amazingly, none of them really wanted to be involved in the business. And he started to think of what he was going to do when he would retire. And so he heard about an ESOP. In 1988, we set up the ESOP. And I eventually became one of the trustees and was head of the communications committee. We grew the business from doing about $20 million in revenue a year to just over $100 million of revenue in a year. And in 2000, I left the business. And I had a portfolio that gave me the chance to do what I really love to do. In fact, on March 5th, 2000, what's the day? Today, March 5th? 10 years ago today. Today's March 5th. Sorry, while I have this moment here. 10 years ago today, I'm going to get choked up thinking about it. 10 years ago today, because of the ESOP value that I had in my portfolio, having just left the company, I wrote a note in my day timer. Today I begin the second half of my working life. I was 50 years old, and while I love the energy business and the mining business and the construction businesses that I've been a part of, what I really loved was politics and all this stuff. And I decided right then, because of the ESOP portfolio that I had brought with me when I left the company, that if it took me 2 to 3 years to get started on this business of politics, that would be okay. I never imagined, back when I was studying invertebrate paleontology, it's true, I was destined to work in a world of spineless creatures. When I got my master's degree in invertebrate paleontology, I never imagined I would be one day wanting to get involved with public service, but more importantly, even well along that 30-year career, I never imagined I would have the opportunity to do so. But it's because of the ESOP that I had that opportunity. You know, most people around the world dream of having what you just received. People want to own their own business. They want to control their own destiny. They want to know what they will do with their working lives will make a difference. And because of what Paris and Becky have set up for you, you have that chance. For those of you here in Goshen, please find your friends. I know you'll know the people who work at Ancon and Reese Riley. Talk to them about what the ESOP has meant for them. Bloomington, stop by Oliver Winery. Talk to the employee owners there. It's an amazing company. The Vigo Coal Company.
It is a winery.
Pardon me?
Just talk to the employees. It is a winery.
That's right. Don't stay long. Just it's a great company. Down the successor company to Kester Companies is Vigo Coal Company, that company I mentioned a few moments ago. Those of you in Evansville, check it out with them. You have an opportunity, because of what you've heard tonight, to begin to save for a lifetime, and maybe you can one day write on your day timer, or do it on your BlackBerry, or however you do it, what your dream is. Because of what you received tonight, you may be taking a big, big step along that path. I said it is my great privilege to talk to ESOP companies, especially at moments like tonight when you're hearing all this for the first time. I hope to have the opportunity at some point in the future to come back in a year or several years to talk to you even more about the progress you've made. Understand this. Being an ESOP does not mean you now have a commune as a business. It doesn't mean that you come in each morning and vote and decide who's going to do what job. There's still a structure here. Still control, if I understood that word correctly there with this. And by the way, they didn't say this formally, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, but they've signed a contract. There's no way they can pack up and leave. They've signed contracts to stay with the company, so that you have that consistent management in place to help the company to continue to grow even as that succession plan for the day when they're not there, that succession plan can be fulfilled with good management that's experienced in the business. But nobody can take what you have as employee owners away in the shares and the ownership of this company. As I say, most people around the world dream of having that. Being an ESOP business does not guarantee you success. ESOP businesses fail, just like every other type of businesses can fail. Being an ESOP is not suddenly being coated with magic pixie dust. There are no silver bullets. It still takes a lot of hard work. But more than anything else, I hope you realize when you walk out the door tonight, what you do on your job every day is going to contribute directly to your long-term benefits. I want to end with one story. I mentioned that we were in the mining business, and it was my job as an ESOP Communications Committee member to go out and talk to the folks once a quarter to let them know how the businesses were doing. And one night I went out to our large surface mine, big open pit type mine, and there was a guy whose name I still do not remember, but his nickname was Styro. He was called Styro because he always carried a little styrofoam cup with him to spit his tobacco in. Coal miners do a lot of that. Styro's job was driving a 185-ton truck. To put that in perspective, like 18-wheel trucks you see on the road, those are at maximum 25-ton trucks. Styro drove a 185-ton truck. Styro was not the type of guy who was ever going to invest in Wall Street. He would never buy a mutual fund. I doubt, although I don't know, I doubt seriously that Styro graduated from high school. I was sitting on the high wall listening to the company radio at 2 o'clock in the morning before we were going to have an employee meeting. And I heard Styro on the radio talking to the fellow who was operating the drill. And there's a big drill out there, drills a hole 14 inches in diameter, drills down through the rock. They load those holes full of explosives and they detonate them to move the rock. At 2 o'clock in the morning, Styro was talking on the radio to the drill operator, and he said, I'll bet if we opened up that drilling pattern a little bit, maybe a couple feet, I bet we could save a couple cents per cubic yard. A couple cents per cubic yard doesn't sound like much, except we were moving about 80 million cubic yards a year. Now, the truth is, I don't know if Styro was right or not, but Styro was thinking like an owner. He understood the ESOP concept totally. He realized what he was doing with his assignment, looking for ways to save money, was in the end going to make a difference to his ESOP portfolio. That too is the opportunity all of you have to take your own inventiveness, your own creativity, your own watchfulness, your own ability to pinch a penny, to make a dollar, to a new level for your own benefit. I wish you well. Congratulations to all of you. And again, I think you need to give these two a very special round of applause.